heartfelt prayer. Start us off. Next, we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance today, which is going to be led by Girl Scout Troop number 80193, which I got a great time spending with them this afternoon. They actually have exceeded a big goal in the first month of selling over 1,400 Girl Scout cookies. So if y'all know it's Girl Scout cookie season, and they're excited to be here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I just want to say our future is bright because these young girls are so inquisitive. They have so many questions and so in tune and attentive. So would you all please rise as they lead us in the pledge?
All right, ready? Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please be seated. Thank you, young ladies, for being here tonight and to being curious about how local government works. You are our future, and we look forward to seeing some of y'all up here in the future governing and creating laws for the community. Okay. Oh, they're here. Okay. All right. Next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I initially sent out an email asking that council add a closed session. I'm going to not add that, as I sent out the email to each and every one of you with the town manager's evaluation, which all I wanted to talk about was the process and procedure. So if you all fill that out, and we'll prepare for a closed session at the next one, and we'll have it actually added to the agenda. But I did want to add the emergency ordinance to establish emergency procedures for the continuality and operation of our government due to the severe winter weather, and that's necessary so we can actually be reimbursed for a lot of the funds we spent on this from the state level. So it's important. Anybody else have anything to add to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
I'd like to add a discussion of the rules and procedures 3.3 to the agenda.
Okay, we can add a section under introductory items and just have discussion at the end.
Thank you.
Discussion. I'm going to put, I'm going to add the emergency resolution as an action item. All right. Anybody have anything else to add or any additions to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilman Pete?
Yes, as I see that the mayor comments and council comments are not on the agenda, can we also include that also, please?
We had that at the first meeting. We had it last 2 weeks ago.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right, so the motion, I guess I welcome a motion to add those, so to add the emergency ordinance as an action item and a discussion item for the rules of procedure.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilwoman Miles. Any discussion on the additions or the adoption of the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All right, Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
All right, Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Pete?
Aye.
Councilwoman Neville?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And that is a yes from me. All right, so that motion carries 7-0. All right, first on the agenda is an award, a proclamation. All right, and I'll read it as that too has been amended a little bit. So we're gonna do a proclamation to have citizens of the town of Dumfries emulate Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated values of culture for service for humanity in the month of January. Whereas on January 4th, the town of Dumfries unanimously declared July 9th as Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated Day in the town of Dumfries. Whereas the local chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated is Marcron Zeta Sigma is recognized for over 12 years of active service in Prince William County. And this past year's service in the town of Dumfries, Virginia, through their education, bigger and better business and social action programs. And whereas the town of Dumfries recognized Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Marcron Zeta Sigma chapter for its commitment to a culture for service and service for humanity. And whereas Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Marcron Zeta Sigma chapter has supported the scholastic endeavors of students and provided over $8,500 in educational scholarships and tutoring services to local students through various programs. And whereas Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Marcron Zeta Sigma chapter, through its bigger and better business program, has partnered with and supported the growth and sustainment of Prince William County and the town of Dumfries local business with over $5,000. And whereas Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, a Marcron Zeta Sigma chapter, has performed over 2,000 community service hours in the town of Dumfries, supporting homeless and lower income families, advocating community law enforcement relations, and promoting better health and wellness for the town of Dumfries citizens through local and its national programs. And whereas the town of Dumfries supports the academic achievement of its students, the growth of the town of Dumfries businesses, and the general health and welfare of its citizens, now therefore be it proclaimed that along with Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated Day on January 9th of each year, that the month of January, in recognition of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, 108 years for culture, for service, and service for humanity, and the local chapter, Marcron Zeta Sigma commitment to Prince William County and the town of Dumfries, be it so that each member of the town of Dumfries to emulate these values and empower themselves and others in advocacy, community service, being committed to making our town and our community better. Signed this day, January 18, 2022, Derek R. Wood, Mayor, Town of Dumfries. On behalf of the chapter, we have Mr. Russell Hopkins here to accept. All right, next on our agenda is the approval of the Dumfries Town Council minute meetings, January 4th, 2022. Council, any questions or remarks for the minute meetings? Okay, seeing none, I welcome a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Councilwoman Miles. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. All right, seeing no discussion, it's been properly motioned and moved. We'll now call for the question to approve the minutes for the Dumfries Town Council minute meetings for January 4th, 2022. All right, Councilman Phils?
Yes.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilwoman Neville? Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. The minute meetings are now approved. All right, next on the agenda is the citizen comment period. Are there any citizens signed up for the meeting?
No, sir, not tonight.
Okay. All right, moving right along. Reports and presentations. All right, first report or presentation on the agenda is an update on the school specialty program from Prince William County Schools Advanced Academics and Specialty Programs. All right, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you all for having us. My name is Karima Wesselhoff. I'm the Supervisor of Advanced Academics and Specialty Programs for Prince William County. And I'm here with my colleague, Doug Wright, and he'll do the second part of the presentation. My information is on the screen. Next slide. So our goal tonight is to kind of talk to you guys about and inform everybody about what specialty programs exist within Prince William County and to go through the process and the deadlines that exist. Next slide. So Prince William County, we have specialty programs, and our specialty programs for the vast majority are all interest-based and focused on career exploration or subject area concentration. We have them on all three levels: elementary schools, middle school, and high school. And they fall into three main categories: what we call our transfer programs. That's where students attend the program full-time at the school of the program is being offered. We have transport, where they attend the program part-time. So they'll go to their base school during the day. They'll go over to the program location for their classes and return to their base school. And then we have site-based program opportunities, and those are programs that exist within all of our schools. All of our programs are open to all students, regardless of their status and standing. So we take special education, we take English language learners, we take gifted students, we take general education students. All students are welcome within our specialty program as long as they show interest, and they show interest through their application process. For the sake of our three types of programs, the really important thing to know is that all of our programs in the elementary school and on the middle school level are all transfer programs. So we don't pull students part way through the day to go to other schools. They attend full-time their other locations. Yes, next slide, you're right. So before we ask our families to apply for our programs, what we really ask them to do is really do an in-depth exploration of all of their programs. We really are base school first conversations, meaning that we believe that and we know all of our schools are comprehensive schools, and they offer advanced programming on all levels and different types of programming on all levels. And so what we often find is that our families are unaware of the programs that exist within their own base school, and therefore they're just trying to transfer out because they're not sure what their programs are. So what we do is we've done a very robust public relations campaign. We are gonna, by the end of next week, I would have done 55 of these presentations to our families. And our goal that we always ask them is to please check with their neighborhood schools. We ask them to do a very in-depth research on their schools. So we ask them to check out their websites, go to their social media, to attend programs and events, and then look at the schools that they might be interested in for those interest programs. And then through that process is how we get them to the application process. Next, please. One of the things that we ask them on that process is to look at their programs of study. So what is it that you're really interested in? And this really applies to all of our programs. For example, on the high school levels, we have programs that are over math and science, that are biotechnology, that are world language focused. And on the middle and elementary school levels, we have those as well. So if you have a student who has an extreme interest in one area versus another, those are the students that we're really interested in and who we think are going to benefit from our programs. We also, to ease the burden on families, we do provide transportation to and from all of our specialty programs under two different models, what we call our base school or traditional transfer and our express transportation issues or process. And then we also asked our families to think about athletics and sports, because transportation to and from athletic activities and sports can be a consideration when applying for a program. Next slide, please. Here you see on the slide, you'll see a sample of a traditional high school schedule. And in middle school and elementary school, it's incorporated into their school day a little bit differently. And on the high school level, as you'll see, each grade level kind of varies. And so the really important part that we like to point out on this slide is if you see the part that's written in red is the electives. That's where most of our specialty program classes are going to take place, because on the high school level, the requirements dictate that there isn't a ton of space for those specialty program courses. So as you see in ninth grade, a ninth grade student might have one slot for a specialty program course, 10th grade, one slot, and then 11th and 12th grade is when their program really opens up and they're able to attend more of those programs in those focus areas. Next slide. All of our program and service areas are predetermined. And so the example that you have on the slide in front of you, you'll see that these are the three math science programs that we exist in the county. All of our programs have either an East or a West component, or what we call our sister program, or they're open to the entire division. So on this one for middle school, you'll see that Graham Park, Marsteller, and Ripon are our 3 math and science programs, and the schools that are listed below them are the schools that are eligible to apply to those programs, and that exists for all of our programs in the division. Next slide. You can keep going. Same thing on the high school level. Back to our transportation. So we have regular bus service, and this is the bus service that people are familiar with, where you walk out your door and you have a bus and you get on your bus and you head to your school. We also offer express bus service, and that's where we offer a pickup from centralized locations. So sometimes they're other schools, sometimes they're community centers, fire stations around the division. These can be a little bit further from your house than normal. So for example, a traditional bus stop is less than a mile from a student's school or from a student's home, usually much closer. An express bus service stop could be 2, 3, 4 miles away, even more, depending on the location and what school it's going to. So that's part of the reason we asked our families to really consider the way that transportation works within their schedules to make sure that they're able to access the program that they're applying for. We do not guarantee transportation to all of our specialty programs. We try our best to get everyone there, but it does sometimes make it a little bit difficult. And the big piece for after school is that sometimes we do not offer after school activity buses for students involved in specialty programs if they are transfer students. And those are that's a school by school decision. Next slide. Athletics and activities are also governed inside of the considerations for our specialty programs. Most importantly, what we talk about with our athletics, all of our activities are controlled by the Virginia High School League. And so they do all athletics and most of our activities such as debate, scholasticals, and some of our other robotics programs as well. And so as students in the high school level establish their eligibility on the 9th grade level. So as long as they enter in 9th grade, they are eligible to play athletics and activities and participate in debate. Students who transfer programs after 9th grade could fall into ineligibility, meaning that they would not be allowed to play sports or activities or participate in those VHSL governed programs for the least would be 25 days, can be up to 365 days, depending on the case and depending on the student. So we do ask families to really consider that as they're considering applying for programs as well. Next slide. The 3 programs that exist on the elementary school level is we have the International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program that's located in 5 of our schools, and it is a whole school program, meaning that every student in the division in those 5 schools participates in that program. We have the World Language Programs, which are either French or Spanish. They don't run both, they run either or, and that's located in 4 of our elementary schools. And then we have our traditional schools, which are gonna be grades 1 through 8, and that's gonna be for this end of the county, Porter Traditional. And it runs 1 through 8. The number of students that are able to enter in the traditional schools varies by the number of seats that are from year to year. Next slide. On the middle school level, we have 5 programs. Again, we have the International Baccalaureate Program, and those again are whole school programs. The really neat thing about IB, it is our only specialty program that a student can participate in from 1st grade all the way through graduation. So that's a really cool thing. The World Language Program, we offer the World Language Program in French, German, and Spanish. And most of our schools offer both French and Spanish, and we do have one that also offers German. We have a math science program, 3 of them in the division. We offer really STEM focused activities. Again, our traditional schools come back up again because they are grade 1 through 8. And then our last one is we have a same gender program that is located at Woodbridge High School, or Woodbridge Middle School, excuse me, where students participate in all of their core classes with their same gendered students. So all females together for English, math, social studies, and science. And then for their elective classes, they are intermixed. On the slide, you'll see they're coming up. These are all of our high school programs. We have quite a few, and they are located throughout the division in different schools. Some of them will fall in solidly within what we would call our specialty programs. Some of them incorporate a lot of our CTE, or career and technical education programs. and they are color coded for you. So it might be a little difficult to see, but anything that's in blue is a transfer program. So students attend that program full-time, all day, every day at that school location. The ones that are in green are transport programs, meaning that they will go to that school just for that portion of those classes. And then, of course, the orange ones are site-based, and those are primarily our JROTC program. So as they're all coming up, you can kind of see through them. So you'll see that they vary from really academic focus, like our Advanced Placement Scholars or our Cambridge program or our International Baccalaureate program, to some of our little more hands-on programs like cabinet making or culinary arts or auto tech. We have, of course, the JROTC, which is going to be our military sciences portion. And then we have a practical nursing program that Mr. Wright will talk about shortly. Our application process is open right now, and it will close on February 1st for the vast majority of our programs. We do have 4 programs that'll close on March 15th. Those are going to be our transport programs. And again, those transport programs are going to be culinary arts, nursing, cosmetology, and firefighting. And when students apply, they have 3 options for acceptance. They're either accepted, they're not accepted, or they're waitlisted. Again, these are interest-based programs. So we take a general criteria of C or better and in good academic standing. And other than that, we go to a lottery. So names go in a hat, you kind of pull things out. Some programs do have some additional criteria, but it usually, the vast majority of them follow that main criteria of C or better and good academic and athletic standing. And that's it. So our program deadline's already gone. We do have one program whose deadline ends a little early. That's the Center for Fine and Performing Arts. It's over at Colgan. And their application process closes earlier because they have to go through an audition process prior to the announcements going out. But everyone else is on March, either February 1st or March 15th for our transport programs, and students will find out if they are accepted to a program by mid-February, so about February 18th. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
But just one question. some
Sure, as many
before
questions as you need.
leave. The one thing I didn't see on your slides was anything about like dual enrollment.
So dual enrollment falls into our advanced academics portion, which is slightly different than our specialty programs. Do you have a specific question about dual enrollment? Because I do supervise
Just
that too.
in talking to the young people about how to get out with their associate's degree and or either college credit classes type of thing.
Sure. So almost everyone, so 12 of our 13 high schools currently offer dual enrollment courses where students, for those who don't know, dual enrollment is where students take college credits on the high school level. And so we partner with Nova most often. We do have a partnership with Shenandoah as well. And we are in the process of building out a full associate's degree at this point in time. Right now, we look at 2 different areas, the associate's degree and the Universal Certificate of Graduate Studies, which is about 1 year of college. And so we have built out a program with Nova that will launch officially next year. But we also offer what we call early online college, where students currently can take up to 2 courses per semester online asynchronously, and they can earn those credits through Nova as well. We always do what we call passport classes, so courses that are guaranteed to be accepted at any Virginia State University. So what we don't want is for our students to take a class and then if they go somewhere else, then they're like, oh, sorry, that's great, you took that class. And so we really look for classes that are really highly transferable.
And then the question I would add on to that is there any costs associated with dual enrollment for the parents?
There isn't. So for our early online college, their materials fees are what it would be. And so whatever the cost of the book is, what we try to do, or what we always do on our website, is we do say how much that book is going to cost them. We try to find a book that's fairly affordable. So under, like college books are always expensive, but under $100. And if there are students who need assistance, Nova does assist with that. But for the traditional dual enrollment classes that are taken within our high school, there is no fee associated.
So do every high school offer the dual enrollment classes, or certain high schools that have certain classes?
Certain high schools offer certain classes. So it depends a lot on teacher certification. So who's available to, and who has a certification in order to do that. So a teacher in a dual enrollment that teaches a dual enrollment class must have either a master's degree or must have at least 18 credit hours on the master's level in that coursework. And so it has been a little bit of a challenge to certify a lot of teachers. However, I had a meeting just this morning and I have one tomorrow where we're trying to create a partnership with some of our local universities to certify more of our teachers. But all of the students or all of the schools have the ability to run a dual enrollment class. And I would say off the top of my head, I believe 12 of our 13 schools are going to offer English, at least one dual enrollment English class next year, which will put everybody on the board for dual enrollment. And then a lot of them offer like the histories because those tend to be pretty easy to certify as well. And then Mr. Wright does have dual enrollment courses that are through the CTE program that kind of fall slightly separate outside of my window, but those are also available.
Now, last one, you said dual enrollment is free, but that's just for the classes at the school. Does it cost for the ones you talked about online?
The early online college only costs for the materials,
Just for the materials?
just for the materials.
So you
yeah.
don't have to pay to get into okay.
No, ma'am. No, sir. We do have, this was launched actually last year. We started in the spring of 2021 with a partnership that Nova actually got a grant to fund our early online college. And so we've had a lot of success. We had, I think, 67 students last semester, and we're still in the open enrollment for this semester. And we've already passed that number for this semester. So we're pretty encouraged, and we're going to continue to enroll kids. There's no limit, there's no cap until we're going to go till the money runs out. So we hope that we have a lot of students that are going to continue to take part in that.
That's great. Council, any other questions about the advanced academic and specialty program before we move to career and technical? Mr. Pete, did you have anything? Let's see.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, there, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. How you doing, ma'am? Real quick, I understand in this process and dealing with the specialty programs, I've been dealing with them for several years and transferring students all over the county pretty much and trying to get them aligned. One of the questions that, one of the barriers that we've always ran into, and just for clarity for the parents and students, is when should they apply? And we just got clarity on the deadlines in February or March. So if we can clarify that, when should the parents and the students apply, that will help me. Thank you.
Sure. So the answer is now. So our first deadline is February 1st. And so the easiest, it does get very complicated when you're thinking about is it a transfer, is it a transport? And the easiest way I tell students is assume that everything ends on February 1st, right? And then you apply for that. We do have a new application program that is a lot easier than it has been in the past, so that will help a lot as well. But the short answer is February 1st. There are 4 programs that close on March 15th, and the only 4 programs that those would be cosmetology, nursing, JROTC, and firefighting. That's it. So those are the only 4 that close on March 15th. Everything else closes on February 1st at 11:59 p.m.
All right. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wright, the floor is yours, sir. It's good to see.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Thank you for this opportunity. CTE, Career and Technical Education, not vocational education that we used to think of, where it was that training for a specific job or kind of thing to do after high school. CTE has really changed. We're all about preparing students to be career, college, and life ready. So thank you for that opportunity. My name, Doug Wright. I supervise CTE, Career and Technical Education for our school division. It has been a journey. It has been an adventure. We're doing some great things, and thank you. So to begin the presentation, we're going to look at slide right there. The next slide, please. Uh-oh. There we go. So in our areas, we have 8 major areas of focus, everything from agriculture, as you see there, to BIT, business information technology, career connections, family and consumer science, health and medical sciences, marketing, technology, engineering education, trade and industrial education. Very excited about each one of these program areas. The major one in our school division that has the most students, teachers, and programs is business and information technology. That in our area, in our region, students realize it, that they're going to need it for a life skill, college, whatever's next. Parents also realize the importance of that program area. Career connections, business information technology, family and consumer science, and that technology, engineering, education. Those 4 areas are open to our students at the middle school. We have 10 programs at the middle school within those areas. And then we have done a tremendous amount to make programs available to all our students, all ability levels, everyone in Prince William County. We have over 130 high school opportunities. Now, when I say that big number like that, please keep in mind that that counts for things like JROTC. In a JROTC program, that's a 4-year program sequence. So that counts in that 130 number. So very proud of all those accomplishments that we've had. And we'll talk more about those programs right now. So next slide. Right here, Ms. Wesselhoff talked about the transfer programs. Those programs are 4 years. Typically right now, if your student was an 8th grader, right now, they'd be looking and thinking about, where do I see myself in the high school program? Do I see myself staying at my base school? Do I see myself looking at one of these specialty transfer programs? Our programs would begin at 9th grade, but students can also transfer in as rising 9th graders, 10th graders, and 11th graders. So there's still that opportunity, because we realize that students right there in the 8th grade, sometimes it's hard for them to make a decision about what we're going to have for dinner tonight, let alone planning out that whole 4-year high school sequence. So you can see what we've done here. And as I get you to take a look at those programs and where they're located, please bear in mind that these programs cost quite a bit of money. Our greenhouse alone that's at Brentsville High School was very expensive. We can't place those programs at every high school. We are working to kind of expand our equity as far as the eastern part of the county and the western part of the county. So we balance those with brother and sister programs, if you will, like our automotive technology. We have one at Hilton High School, one at Osborne Park. Aviation maintenance, the same way. Some of our other programs, biomedical at Osborne Park, that'll also have a program at the new Gainesville High School coming on. Cabinet making, cybersecurity at Potomac High School. Next slide, please. There are some more program opportunities. We have 13 of these transfer programs, and we are growing every year, folks. I think it's so important for parents and students to realize how we have started to expand these opportunities for students. There was kind of that mentality a while ago where there's only one way to find success, and that was higher education, 4-year college right out of high school. Now we've seen that paradigm shift, and all of a sudden parents and students have started to take that step back and say, there are great opportunities and great ways to find success and bright futures by other pathways. As an educator, I want to see students get to that higher level of education, but some of them need a different pathway. Some of them are really ready to go off and work in these different field areas, but then they realize, hey, I'm going to want to go back to community college, get my business degree so I can open my own business. And then they're going to see my name on the truck going up and down 234 with my picture on the back of it. You know, and that's a good success story when students really start to think and dream that big way. You can see our programs there. Some of the new ones, medical coding and billing, pharmacy technician, new programs in different areas that are bringing great opportunities to students across our division. Next slide, please. Now, our transport programs, there are 4 of them. These are open to our 11th and 12th grade students. We talked to even our freshmen, 8th grade and freshman parents about these programs. Well, wait a minute, you just said they're only open to 11th and 12th grade students. Even as early as the 8th and 9th grade, a student needs to start planning with their parent and their school counselor about those courses. Because if you remember from Ms. Wesselhoff's slide that showed the number of electives students can take throughout their 9th and 10th grade year, we've really got to prepare them to think about, how can I fit a class that's a double block? That means it's 2 credits into my junior year. Some of our classes are even 3 credits. That's a day out of their schedule for taking a CTE class. A great example of that is the new partnership we have with firefighting. What a fabulous program, but it takes quite a bit of planning for a student to be able to put that into their schedule. So you can see those 4 programs: cosmetology, culinary arts, firefighting, and practical nursing. If I could tell you, and I had hours to tell you about the successes that these programs have as far as scholarships, career pathway opportunities for students, and advanced academic opportunities, it's amazing the scholarships that these students earn, the accolades that they earn. We in Prince William County had the world, not the country, but in the world, Microsoft Office user from our school division. Microsoft awarded him with the highest award in the world. He competed against, I think it was 100+ country students from other countries. He was the #1 student in the world for his use of Microsoft programs. So we have those types of students, and we want to give them those types of opportunities. Next slide, please. So our transfer programs, you can see the date, again, following along with the new application, February 1st is that date. Then for our transport programs, it's the 15th. Why a different date? We want to give those juniors and seniors and their school counselors more time to ensure they have all the credits they need. Graduation is the #1 priority, but making sure they have all those pieces in place to get into that program. Next slide, please. JROTC. Our division is probably, and I double checked this, but we have 9 JROTC programs in our school division. We see and service a lot of students in that program area. All 4 branches are represented across the division. If a school does not have, if your child attends a school that does not have a JROTC program, there is the opportunity to transfer to a school that does. It is a great program. It is a great program for building that citizenship, leadership, character, and organizational skills. It's not marketing towards going into service. Of course, there is a component where they're introduced to that type of thing, but again, the leadership. When you see students in our hallways wearing that uniform, being part of something, it's such a game changer for a young person who now identifies in the school. And I mean, it changes their academic outlook. It really is that positive piece that we're so proud of in our division. And when you look at our division, our parents, many of them come from service backgrounds and areas as well too. So what a great program for us to have. Next slide, please. There's where you can transfer for the different programs if your school doesn't have it. So again, bringing that equity to all students. If you are interested in JROTC, there's an opportunity for you at a school. Next slide, please. Graduation requirements. CTE plays a big part in graduation for students. There's one course, it's called Economics and Personal Finance, EPF. It is a graduation requirement that students do need to take. So that most students will see that when they're a junior in high school. Other pieces to that, you would see your school counselor for more details on those. Next slide, please. Industry certifications. This is something that our leadership in our school division, our parents, are really behind. We want them to graduate, but we want them to also have something in the bank that's that next piece that they could use in real life. And those are marketable credentials that they can show an employer. If you're going into the construction industry, having OSHA 10 or OSHA 30, that safety certification, that's a game changer on a resume for a young person. That moves you ahead of the line. So all our programs are available to have an industry certification. Some of them are quite difficult, I'll be honest with you, because these are the real world things. CompTIA A+, Security Plus, those are those real things that are out there. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard for every high school student to pass those. When have you heard of an industry certification that has a 100% pass rate? If it did, how rigorous and robust is that, assessment tool to get there? So some of our assessments, it's hard to get, but students are getting the experience and seeing what they can do. And it is a game changer for them. Next slide, please. Dual enrollment. I'm glad this came up. We at CTE love our dual enrollment. It is, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard a parent come to one of our back to school nights and say, my son, my daughter is getting college credit for this as well as high school credit. And they're demonstrating to themselves that they can do college level work. Folks, when you see that, when you find your passion, if it's welding, if it's nursing, if it's biomedical, when you find your passion and you're given opportunities, you can do some incredible things. And we see that with our young people. And it makes me so proud to see those certifications and how well we do as a school division. So dual enrollment is part of that as well. Again, we partner with Shenandoah University, and that one does cost. It does have a cost for Shenandoah University. It's about $175. We have scholarship opportunities for that. So any student that is interested in pursuing Teachers for Tomorrow through Shenandoah University, they can and will get scholarship opportunity for that. I don't know of a student that we haven't been able to offer that to. Our others are with Northern Virginia Community College, and as Ms. Wesselhoff said, excuse me, talking with his mask, it's hard to get every teacher to get those credentials to be able to be an adjunct professor for Northern Virginia Community College, but we are working on it, working on plans all the time to kind of elevate our faculty to get there, because it's good stuff for students. Let me tell you, it's a game changer for a student to leave with those college credits. It really is. Next slide, please. Something big that has just come from Virginia Department of Education, WBL, work-based learning. We want our students to be able to get these experiences so that they're going out into the workplace to get those real life experiences while they're in high school and then continue that on after. We're looking for career pathways. These are not jobs. These are opportunities for careers where a student can stay in that and grow. Our superintendent has made some pretty lofty goals for us that we will have 500 students over the next 4 years get workplace learning experiences, everything from apprenticeship to internships to, we have about 12 different options in there from the Virginia Department of Education. We want our students getting those experiences. We want them to be positive experiences. So we've got to vet the employer to make sure they're going into a safe environment while they're with us in school. Work-based learning, next slide, please. So here are some of the methods that we can use for that. Things as simple as job shadow, service learning, student-run enterprise. We have branches of Apple Federal Credit Union in our high schools that are run by our business and marketing students. What an opportunity to learn those skills and those job skills right there. Mentorship, internship, externship, Youth Registered Apprentice, YRA. This is one we were celebrated for in Prince William County by the Virginia Department of Labor and Industry, DOLI, Department of Labor and Industry. We were a trailblazer in the region. We were the first school division in Region 4 to have youth registered apprentices. That's anyone that's 16, 17 years of age going out into the workplace. And they're working with a business partner, they're getting paid, and they're working towards an apprenticeship. That is so important in some of the trades and some of the other businesses, because they're not only getting credit for their schoolwork and hours there, they're also getting on-the-job training as well and getting paid for it. If I took you to my plumbing class and you saw a paycheck hanging up in the corner of the wall, teacher uses that as a very teachable moment. Students will look at that paycheck and say, well, was that for a month? And one student says, no, that was for a week. And that's a game changer, because students can really earn some good money out there in these different areas, skill trades. Next slide, please. Here's a quick video I wanted to show you if I can. It's 2 minutes long. Ooh, it was quick.
Apprenticeships offer students the opportunity to learn skills that they don't gain in traditional classrooms. These skills they can take and use at home or to move on to a career. Let's check in with some of our teachers and students in our plumbing and automotive apprentice program.
I was curious about the plumbing program. When I first got there, I was like, I don't know if this is for me or not. So after a couple of months, I talked to Mr. Carter. I was just like, Mr. Carter, I want to expand my knowledge of plumbing. And he was just like, oh, I got this great company. It's called Longs Corporation. I was like, great, I need the number. I worked here since July, and like, it's amazing. I am very thankful for this company and for Mr. Carter.
For the apprenticeship to get them out, they need to be mature, they need to be respectful, pay attention, show up on time, work hard, and learn.
It's very important that they get the skills from both the classroom and the on-job training in order to understand the trades.
I know how to install things, water heaters, sinks, toilets, anything, you name it.
When I was first enrolled in the CTE program, I really wasn't interested in the line of work. I just wanted to learn more about cars. After a while of being enrolled in the program, I learned that I really was interested in this line of work, and now it's something that I want in my future. This is a great place to be, but it's also very different from what it is to be like in school.
To work on a time schedule in a business that's actually trying to make money, that gives them much more of a real world feel for the work that they're doing for the dealerships and the shops they work for.
Here at Lustine Toyota, we've actually had several of the students, graduates, make a career here, and we look forward to continuing that.
The CTE and Automotive program at CTE Hilton honestly just shaped my career trajectory. And it's just been an interest and a passion that's just been building ever since then. It's a fun industry. It is a very hardworking, high demand for factory trained technicians.
So those were examples. The one young lady that's working at Lustine Toyota, she is still in school. She's still with us. She's a senior. She half day goes out to work there on an apprenticeship. She is mentored by a master technician. The young man that was at Lustine, he's a former graduate. And the young lady that's working at Long's Plumbing, she just graduated. So great success stories. There are many, many more like that, but they're out there. And those opportunities are out there. So much to offer in Prince William County. It's just getting the word out to parents and students. And it's also getting parents to understand, there are many pathways to a bright future and success. There are many pathways. Just make sure, you work with your child to find the right match. That's what it's about. Because I'm telling you, when they find their passion, like the young woman with plumbing, when she comes back and tells us that she's helping to buy a car for her parents, and then she wants to work enough so that she can help with the house, that's amazing. That's good stuff. So we're building good citizens right here in our community, and it takes great kids. It takes great programs. Next slide, please. So we talked about all middle schools and what they offer. There are the classes that they offer. They offer the business, the family and consumer science, the engineering. We're very proud of our engineering. Our engineering blows those schools up in the other part of the county. We'll stay away, Fairfax, Loudoun County. Our engineering program is awesome. I can't say enough about what that's done. It's called Project Lead the Way. It really gets students, all students, they might come into that class thinking, oh, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at science. They walk away feeling energized about what potential they could have in the future. Next slide, please. Once again, what are we? We're that hands-on, we're that project-based, we're that real-world learning, industry-recognized certifications, dual enrollment opportunities, work-based learning. That's the value-added proposition right here in CTE that Prince William County offers to our students. We're getting them ready. College, career, and life. Thank you very much for your time. It's our passion to do this work because I want to see every child find their bright future. Every child find their bright future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have some questions from the Vice Mayor, but Mr. Wright, it's always good to see your passion. I see you've added some things to your program since I've last been in your office harassing you about a lot of the culinary arts programs and stuff like that.
A new one's coming to Garfield High School. I put that out there. So good. It takes time. It takes that funding to get there, but and your support, because getting the word out to the parents is so important. Engaging our business partners as well is that other piece. Because if we have kids ready, but I don't have a place to send them, because that piece of going out into the workforce and seeing real people doing the real work and having that experience, it's a game changer. So if you know of anybody, we're open for business.
No, and the other challenge, and I don't know if you remember me always harping on with you, is the career counselors are no longer in the schools. And I don't know if you're building the career and bringing back the career fairs in the 8th grade level so that kids can be aware of these career fairs to get the word up. And so
we're working on that, Mayor. Our superintendent has tasked us with getting those things back in place because we need to have those. I think everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people recognize the value that those bring to that. So we are working on those college and career counselors, having one at every school. I'll tell you, we've been hit with challenges of staffing. Their teacher troubles, their counseling troubles, because finding, staffing for those positions. But our office was very fortunate. We got one new position, and that is the gentleman you saw in that video, Mr. Asir Ayu, who is our workforce development coordinator. And that was through the help of, it takes great leadership too. My boss, Ken Bassett, who's here, helped me get that position put in, and it makes a difference. And we're trying to add more. The superintendent has said 3,500 students will have summertime employment from Prince William County, and 500 will have one of those work-based learning experiences over the next 4 years. So we got some good work to do.
that's good. That's good. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Wright, for a great presentation. I just had a really quick question about the JROTC. So it says here that PWC does not allow transfer to schools for branch specific. So does that mean then that whatever is at your school is what you have to go into?
That is correct. When you look at the tenets of the curriculum and what is there, that character, leadership, all those things are in the components of the curriculum for all 4 area branches. And looking at that, it's whatever's your school offers is the one that we want you to go through. Now, we might have somebody's parent who's Army officer and Air Force is offered there. And I have that conversation with the parent and the student. We talk about the reasons why. They look at the curriculum and they give it a try, and we've been very successful with that. So again, it's the instructor building that student up, and that happens at all branch levels.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually just want to say thank you so much to you and also your colleagues for coming out and giving us this presentation. I can see how excited you guys are about the program, and that as a parent who has a child that attends Prince William County schools, that is refreshing just to know how invested you are in these kids and seeing that they succeed. And I am definitely going to be sharing this information through my network and everywhere else, because this is amazing what you guys had, and I didn't know half of this, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And it's opportunities like this. You heard Ms. Wesselhoff say she's given 50-some presentations. I've given about 8. It's all about informing, educating the students, the parents about what's out there, because there is a fit out there. And having you all carry that message forward and knowing that, hey, one day when things get a little better, come on out. I'll treat you to a meal at one of our culinary arts programs, and we'll take a tour and get to meet the teachers and see what the students are doing. Because I think that's been a big eye-opener for a lot of business. We invite business in to see what we're doing, and they're blown away by what today's young person. They're debunking that whole myth that, public education's not getting it done. They come in, they see what our students are doing. Can we get like 2 or 3 students to, they're very excited about what they're seeing. So good things are happening, folks, and thanks for getting the good word out for us.
Yeah, I can definitely brag about your culinary arts program. Although I feel like the kitchens aren't created equal. Patriot has a much bigger, better. But I love Emily and both Ron over at Potomac for what they do over there in those programs. But the other thing I want to give you a chance to brag on, because you talked about the partnerships with the business. You didn't talk nothing about Spark, and I know you didn't have any representative from Spark here that really talked about. But the CTE, I think, like somebody for me who college wasn't a traditional path, I think this is important. And I know the biggest problem we had for years is really getting the word out and letting people know. I was one of the ones that spent a lot of time reading the catalog, trying to understand the dual enrollment, understanding the CTEs, fighting, trying to get articulation agreements with other schools that had some of the CTA type programs, because I don't think Nova and Sonoma Valley are just enough, and you have other local colleges like Strayer and Stratford University that offers nursing and offers culinary. And so you remember I was that guy that was always in there like, why don't we have other agreements? And then fighting for just the teachers. I have one left in school now. She's 16, 11th grader. And, I was trying to get her dual enrollment and just ran into the problems with, not having the teachers who were certified in the particular schools in Forest Park. But the other thing that was good to brag on too, the IT program, like you said, at Forest Park, refurbished all the computers for the state for all of those programs. You didn't get to brag about that. Program for the entire state of Virginia, like right here in Prince William County, they refurbished all those computers and sent them down to all of those schools. So,
Absolutely, it's amazing. And, just want to do a thank you to Chairman, School Board Member Wilk, who connected us through Miss Neville to be here tonight. So I hope I got that name right. But yes, all of you, thinking about what the division can do, a neighbor, somebody that can get through the advanced academics or the CTE, there's that match that's out there. Same way with our music programs, everything. It truly is some great stuff going on in our school division. So thank you.
Councilman Pete or Neville, did you have anything? I was about to say Neville too.
Thank you, Mayor. It's Councilwoman Neville. Thank you. So, sir, thank you for your passion. It shines through, and it's obvious why the children are so excited as they're in that video sharing how thankful they are to have the opportunities through the school system, because look at your passion. I truly enjoyed you all's presentation tonight. And it's clear, it's evident that your robust program offerings get you thinking about careers and creating pathways to success at an early age, which is very important. And I appreciate that tremendously. I am also an educator at Fairfax, which you kind of mentioned earlier. And I'm also the parent of a student who is the product of Prince William County specialty programs. And so my son was in the science and math program at Grand Park Middle School, as well as the computer engineering program at Forest Park High School. And he recently graduated from the Virginia State University this past May and is working as a computer engineer right now. So I owe you magnitudes of gratitude. So thank you all so much for accepting my invitation to come and give this presentation. During the break, I was just worried about the deadlines approaching, and I wanted to make sure that our citizens, our families, our youth were aware of the deadlines and the opportunities. They need to take advantage of these opportunities. And I also want to shout out Mr. Wilk. Thank you, Justin Wilk, for putting us all in contact and making this presentation possible. And this was extremely informative and beneficial to everyone who was paying attention and tuned in. And it's just in time for these deadlines, so everyone can go ahead and get started. So thank you so much. Best of luck to everyone watching who will apply for these programs. Thank you and have a wonderful school year.
Thank you so much for your help and support and good wishes. Bright futures out there for every child in Prince William County.
One last question, because the thing I didn't see y'all do this year, you used to do in the beginning of January, the college workshops that y'all would do at the schools to talk to the kids about the career training program, and you would bring people in to talk to them about that fast tracking coming through high school, the college, and the career of the child.
And I think those are the parent summits.
That's exactly what it is, the parent summit.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of people become aware of a lot of this. So was that digital this year?
I know they did an activity just a couple of weeks ago, and we're always putting additional things out. There'll be college fairs again in the spring as well. So I would tell you, just keep an eye on the webpage, and also the community bulletins that we put out. We're increasingly put more and more of those kinds of opportunities out for people, because folks are, we can do 10 of them and there'll be an audience for 11. So we just keep ranking.
And we will in April have a career fair for our seniors that'll be graduating. But before that, we're doing a regional one with Loudoun County, Prince William, Fairfax and Arlington that'll be just a career awareness, and that's open for 9th grade through like 11th grade. But the one that's really there where we're going to have interview stations and everything, students that are coming will be business ready. They'll have their resume. So look for information about that one in April, and that's for our graduating seniors. But the other one is coming up, I think it's around March 1st for the career exploration one.
Okay. Well, thank y'all again for your time. We appreciate you. All right, council. It's pretty good. Next on our agenda is our town manager's report. Mr. Rogers, the floor is yours. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mayor. My report is before the council. I simply want to highlight one item. I would just like to encourage all of the citizens to complete and return their community survey. This survey is a very important instrument as we seek to get feedback from our residents about our performance, but also the services that we provide every day. This information will be used to inform our strategic plan, which for the town of Dumfries is our budget. As budget season fast approaches, you can use the prepaid envelope to return your community survey, or you can utilize the online option with the link provided in the letter as well as on the town website. So that concludes my comments for the evening, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, council questions on the town manager's report? Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Town manager, can you please share with us what the current response rate is for the survey, if you know that, and then what date will the survey close?
So I don't have an up-to-date response rate, but I can say that it has been positive. So we are getting returns. So we just want to encourage everyone. We want to keep it, we would like to wrap it up maybe the middle of February if possible. Our consultant is working to get a statistically significant sample, but we will keep it open as long as we can to get that statistically significant sample size.
Thank you. I was going to ask whether or not there was a target response rate as far as with regard to when it would close.
Yes, ma'am. And I don't want to misquote those particulars, but once the consultant has it, they will advise us and we'll begin to wrap up and put out a deadline at that point in time. But we want everyone to respond as quickly as possible so we can reach that milestone as soon as possible.
And may I ask, when we are approaching that deadline, that we make sure to send out reminders that the deadline is approaching with the time frame?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for the town manager? Okay, question is on the Black History Month event, Mr. Rogers. Can you give us, I guess, what it says it's going to be virtual this year, I guess, any details for or how that's going to work, participation or any of that? Like,
Yes, so the save the date information is in the packet. We have a program that's very similar to how it was last year, which was very similar to how it is in person, but everyone is participating virtually. So we have our keynote speaker who will be included on our advertisement that we will get out this week, and that'll have a little more information on run of show and where residents and visitors can watch when we have our live premiere for a virtual Black History program.
is it the health theme? Is that the theme with the health?
Yes, the theme for this year across the country is health and wellness.
Okay. And who did you say the keynote was?
We'll send that information out this week.
Okay. All right. Is there any other questions, Council? Mr. Fields?
Well, Mr. Rogers, we usually, without it being virtual, have teamed up with, of course, Little Union. Do we have anything from them? Any idea what they're going to do? Are they going to be participating in our program?
Yes, they will be represented. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more questions on the town manager report before I move on? Okay. Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Rogers, for your report here. Next on the agenda is our our action item for our emergency ordinance. There's an action for emergency ordinance to establish the emergency procedures for our continuity of operation of the government due to the severe weather. Ms. Rogers, you want to speak to it?
Thank you, Mayor. As you stated, this is concerning the weather, severe weather that we had on last week. So I will ask our town clerk to read the emergency ordinance into the record, and we will be looking for a motion from council to approve the ordinance which affirms the local declaration.
Emergency ordinance to extend established emergency procedures for the continuity and operation of the government due to severe winter weather. Whereas on January 5th, 2022, the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, in Executive Order Number 83, declared a state of emergency and disaster within the Commonwealth of Virginia pursuant to VA Code Section 44-146.116 to prepare and coordinate response to severe weather involving two storms, the first of which began on Monday, January 3rd, 2022, and the second on January the 6th, 2022. And whereas on January the 6th, 2022, Keith C. Rogers Jr., Town Manager and the Director of Emergency Management, declared a state of local emergency in the town of Dumfries pursuant to VA Code Section 44-146.21, which is hereby affirmed by the Town Council. And whereas the town continues to work to mitigate impacts of the COVID-19 global health pandemic, in addition to being seriously impacted by these winter weather events. And whereas the aforementioned winter weather events constituted an emergency of such magnitude to warrant a coordinated response by the various departments of the town of Dumfries. And whereas Section 3.08 of the Town Charter provides in pertinent part that the Town Council has the authority to adopt emergency measures to meet a public emergency affecting life, health, property, or the public peace. And whereas VA Code Section 15.2.1413 provides that notwithstanding any contrary provision of law, general or special, any locality may, by ordinance, provide a method to assure continuity in its government in the event of an enemy attack or other disaster. And whereas VA Code Section 2.2-3708.2 provides for electronic meetings in the event of an emergency. And whereas this declaration of emergency shall activate the local emergency operations plan and authorize the furnishings of aid and assistance thereunder. And whereas state law and the town code require that such declaration of local emergency be approved and confirmed by town council as the governing body of the town of Dumfries, Virginia, at the next scheduled meeting or 14 days following the declared emergency. Now, therefore, be it ordained pursuant to Section 3.08 of the Town Charter and VA Code Sections 15.2-1413 and 2.2-3708.2 that the Town Council for the Town of Dumfries does hereby approve and confirm the declaration of local emergency dated January the 6th, 2022 at 12:01 p.m.
I just want to confirm, is that the 5th or the 6th?
It's the 6th.
It is the 6th.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right, council.
I make a motion that we approve the emergency ordinance to extend established emergency procedures for the continuity and operation of the government due to severe winter weather.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned by the vice mayor, second by Councilman Fields. Any discussion on the motion? On the ordinance? Okay, seeing none, I will call for the question. Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Councilwoman Neville?
Aye.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. Motion carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is an introductory item. It's a resolution authorizing the town manager to advertise a public hearing on the proffer condition amendment application PCA 2016-001 filed by Town Square at Dumfries LLC with a public hearing date for February 15, 2022. Town manager? Turn your mic on. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Council is being asked for a motion authorizing the town manager to advertise a public hearing on the pro-offer condition amendment application PCA 2016-001 filed by Town Square at Dumfries LLC. Public hearing date, February 15th, 2022. And sir, this is a resolution.
Any questions, council?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
It's been motioned by Councilwoman Miles, second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion on the motion on the floor? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Miles?
Aye.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman Neville?
Aye.
Councilman Pete?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes from me. Okay. Motion carries. All right, last on our agenda is a discussion item from the Vice Mayor on the rules and procedure. Vice Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Rules and procedures, I asked that Ms. Pandex send it out to everyone for reference. So I am going to just read out to you section 3.3, participation by remote electronic communication. Pursuant to VA Code 2.2-3708.2, or as otherwise set forth in the Code of Virginia, members of town council may participate in a town council meeting through electronic means, subject to the conditions and requirements of this statute. Any member seeking to participate electronically shall notify the mayor and town attorney at least 24 hours in advance. Thank you. Of the scheduled meeting to ensure compliance with applicable Virginia Code sections. The member shall be provided web-based access to the meeting, or if acceptable, to the member access by telephone. So what I would like to propose is that as council, we ask the attorney to add language to section 3.3 that excludes closed session as a part of the reasonable accommodations for which a member shall be provided web-based access to the meeting, or if acceptable, to the member access by telephone. I'm making this request based on the fact that closed session meetings have an integrity that we need to maintain of confidentiality. And I think that when we have members who are virtual, it compromises the integrity of the meetings. Therefore, I'm requesting that we add language to section 3.3 that excludes closed session from the meeting mentioned here in the code.
Okay, so discussion. No discussion?
Of course so. So what I'm hearing is if there's any one of us that is virtual, that when we go into closed session, that we cannot attend the closed session meetings because we're virtual. Is that what I'm hearing, Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And then you said the reason being is that for confidentiality, because what was your reason for confidentiality on the virtual again?
Because closed sessions are to be confidential and protected from outside sources and knowledge. So when we have a member virtually attending that meeting, it compromises that integrity of the confidentiality of the meeting.
What's the difference of anyone that's in person? if you're
But when we're in
virtual, or
person-
or if you're virtual or if you're in person, I mean, I understand the language of being confidentiality, but if you're in person, you can do the same thing. This is a matter of pretty much closing your mouth, pretty much keeping closed session information closed session. This has nothing to do with trying to exclude people that are virtual, because of health concerns, because maybe some people on council have an issue with people that are virtual, but there are health concerns that are one of my top priorities. And I disagree with what you're proposing to exclude me out of closed sessions because of confidentiality. And I state that it's no difference than if somebody is in person. That same person that's in person can do the same thing. So I'm definitely not understanding your leverage of where you're trying to go with this proposal.
So when we're in person, we do have to certify that the things that we discuss in person are kept in confidence. There is no way for us to guarantee that, made evident by the notice. Sir, are you going to allow me to speak?
Same thing. You can do the same thing if you're in person. You can do the same thing if you're in person.
Okay, I'm done. I've made my point.
No point.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Councilwoman Neville.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I echo Councilman Pete's sentiments. I am having a difficult time understanding the rationale for why we would exclude our own council members from closed session. I have a few health reasons why I'm not there that I will not disclose on TV, but I will say that one of them involves my safety, being able to make it to the meeting safely tonight, in addition to my concern being high risk for COVID and the lack of a mask mandate in council chambers. At least it's not in effect, nothing is enforced. So I really feel like this is a violation, and I'm sure our attorney, who is well-versed and well-skilled in what she does, as she's working on language, she will find reasons why this is a violation. I think we're putting ourselves at risk for a lawsuit just by proposing this. So I strongly disagree. I'm open to conversation, but I'm not hearing anything, and I hope someone says something to make it make sense. I'm surprised at this right now. And there are other things that we need to add, and I hope everyone realizes, because I too looked at this document earlier. We're not even enforcing this document on a consistent basis, but we're just focused on this section. Maybe I'll add some other items right before our next meeting to the agenda so we can discuss some other items, like why our citizens can't make comments virtually during a pandemic, and several other items that need to be discussed, like, is the town prepared to provide closed session technically? And I'm talking about technically, do we have the technical means to offer closed session? Because it seemed to me like that was an issue today. And I'd like to bring to everyone's attention what we already know. Other local forms of government, they're meeting. We're going into year 3 of the pandemic right now. School board has closed session virtually. The county does. They allow citizens the opportunity to make comments physically there for those who choose to be there, and for those who choose to tune in virtually. I feel like this is a violation of my civil rights. And as a member of ACLU, I'm just going to see how this vote goes and see what happens here, and there will be repercussions. So thank you so much for listening.
Ms. Bennett? You have to put your mic on so you can be heard.
Mr. Mayor, I understand the directive of the Vice Mayor. What I would like to do, since this has come up rather quickly, is I would like to come back to council with some options for you to consider, if that's acceptable to the Vice Mayor, so that you can review those and see what might be palatable. I'll also have an opportunity to make sure that we're consistent with law, because I know that's what the Vice Mayor has in mind, in addition to other things. So I'd like to come back to you with that. I'd like to know what time frame you have in mind, so that I can do that in a timely way. And I may also be able to give you a few examples of the different options that are being used in other areas of the locality or of the state that might be helpful. So if that's acceptable, I'd be glad to do that.
Yes, that's acceptable. Thank you.
Yeah, I think looking at a time frame, I know it's short, but we probably meet in closed session maybe once or twice a year. All right. And this is the time of year. Well, the timely effectively, we want to talk about our staff, our town manager, our responsibility, human resources. A year ago, we had some issues because all we had was a cell phone, pass it around. Some people could hear, some people couldn't hear. And I don't think it's fair to have to pass around a phone and then try to get people to hear and things like that. And I think in the situation here, I know that this is going on year 3 and the town manager has made a ton of, I think, reasonable combinations with the shields in place, with the mass signage all up around, and the combinations to ask in the space. So
Next meeting.
next meeting.
I've got it. I understand. Thank you. Next meeting.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brown.
Yes, can we bring other concerns about the protocols? I have to get with you on some other things that I'm reading here. So one thing that Councilwoman Neville said is we're not even following this. And if we're not following this, then we have a problem already. So let's tighten this up so that we can be in legally right toward this document. We created this document and we should be following it. So let's look at some of the things in here that we're not doing for whatever reason. And let's bring that also up at the next meeting. Before the next meeting.
Any other discussion? All right, Councilwoman Neville.
Thank you, Mayor. I heard that shields were brought up and passing phones around. Guys, it is 2022. We are the town of Dumfries. We should emulate excellence. So I hope that we can tap into TSI, get some technology recommendations as well as legal recommendations on ways that we can be up to date. Like I'm not understanding here. We shouldn't be talking about, and yes, that happened in the past because I was the one on speakerphone voting on things I could not even hear. But here we are in 2022 talking about passing phones around. We should not be there. We should not be there. Maybe we need to direct the town manager to contact Prince William County government, NVRC, NVTA, other groups that are having wonderful meetings using technology. If we need to have some technological upgrades to our council chambers, then that's just what we need to look into. We shouldn't be discussing phones and screens. I've been asking for a screen to be put up on the dais since like August, and they're sitting in the back room. They're not there yet. So I think we really appreciate Councilman Brown and what you said. We definitely need to go back over that document. There are several items that need to be reviewed. Some of these questions were brought up earlier last year when we were working on this. But as far as the capabilities and the question on the floor, I think we also need to get some technology insight from someone who specializes in that. And we already have contracts with TSI, but also to contact the school board and other organizations to see how they are managing it. It's possible. Everyone else is doing it. The kids can come in there and hook it up. They know how to do these things. I'm just really not understanding what's going on right now. So thank you so much for your time.
All right, any other discussion on this? Okay, I think the discussion has now been exhausted. And at that time, that concludes our agenda.